Hello everybody, welcome. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We are live in St. Paul, Minnesota, outside the Ethiopian Consulate in this international building. And there's been a sit-in or an occupation outside here for the last week or so, calling for awareness to some of the Oromo struggle. This happened after the assassination of Hundessa, the famed singer. And we're going to speak to some of the youth out here that are holding it down out here. We've covered some of the Oromo protests in this last week, and this is one that's been ongoing. And so we're going to get sort of an update as to what's been going on out here. We were live last week, not exactly sure what day at this point, but we were live and we were talking to some of these folks, and some of the same folks are here, but also some new folks. And so we'll be here for a little bit, and we'll describe, or we'll bring you the perspectives of these youth that are out here calling for life to be sacred, calling for the Oromo struggle to be known about, and for the Oromo people to be honored, for the Prime Minister to step down, and for independent investigation for Hundessa's assassination, and the freedom of political prisoners, including Jawar Mohamed, who is from Minneapolis. Would either of you all be able to give us an intro?
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Okay.
right. You can take this if you want, or I can hold it, however you want to do it.
I can hold it.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, can you talk about basically what's going on out here? This is a week now?
Yeah, we're on our 8th night sleeping here. Tomorrow will be our 9th day here. We've been occupying the embassy space, like outside of the building. Yeah, pretty much youth have just been here like 24/7 for the past 9 days now. And we're yet to like get an actual answer from the embassy. We've been in communication with them, but they've been kind of like dodging actual questions and demands. They are like calling us with no caller ID.
One second, everybody. Please start that over in a minute.
Okay.
Feels good over here.
It's nice, that breeze.
But you finna interview King Ararage?
Yeah, you down to be interviewed?
Legendary. Magura, recording Nugolada.
Yeah, live.
Amantan. Assalamualaikum.
Check, check, check. Thank you. Sorry about that. Battery ran out in the beginning when we had just checked it. All right, back to the interview.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
That's better.
Should it
Yeah, can you just start over
from the beginning?
Yeah, people are out here. We're outside the Ethiopian embassy. What are you looking for? How many days?
We've been here. This is our 8th night sleeping here, and like tomorrow, technically today, Friday, is our 9th day on the premises. Youth have just been occupying the space for them to pretty much like, with us being here, it puts pressure on the other businesses here and the property management to pressure the embassy to speak to us. We've been in communication with them last week, but as of like the weekend, we haven't heard back. Our last communication was like, I want to say 2 or 3 days ago, but like I was saying before, they call us with no caller ID, so we're not able to initiate calls. So pretty much we're just waiting around for them to call us all day. And they've been like dodging our questions, like our actual direct questions, and trying to like get information from us without telling us who they are and what their position is. Also, they are directly calling youth on their cell phones instead of contacting the Oromo elders at the community center, which I think is problematic. Yeah, pretty much that's it. We just are waiting for a response from them. Last time I talked to them, they did some more sketchy stuff. Like they wanted me to pick 2 people to meet with them privately, and I told them that's not gonna work for us. like want a public statement to be made to everyone who is concerned about the well-being of like the Oromo people and prisoners that include 3 American citizens. Yeah, and pretty much they've been silent since the day all this unrest started. And just like since we've been here, they just put up a sign saying that the Ethiopian embassy will be closed due to COVID. But it's like COVID didn't start in June, so they shouldn't have closed in June. If they were going to close for COVID, they could have done that earlier. And they're saying like they closed for COVID and are working remotely, but they're not working. They're not answering any phone calls or emails, even to like to any ethnic group. It's not just Oromo people. They have completely just shut down, but only in terms of business, because every night for like the past few days we've seen like their window is the 3rd floor up there. Their lights have been on, so we know they're in there and like watching us, but they're not answering our phone calls. So I don't know what they're planning. Hopefully they're trying to figure out how they can meet with us publicly. I'm sure that's probably like tricky for them because they have a lot of explaining to do. So we're just pretty much, that's it. We're waiting for a call back from them.
And some of the explaining is having to do with some of the things that they're doing there to repress the Oromo population, but also, from my understanding, from what you all were saying, was some of the things here, like they're not able to now represent any Ethiopian here in this country now, and that's sort of what they're here for. And so can you just talk about maybe the problem that is faced with the Oromo community or the Ethiopian community in general?
Yeah, it's an issue in the Ethiopian community in general, because the other day, like for example, sorry, can you still hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
the other day, like when we were trying to call them, we like went inside and there was like a elder like Ethiopian Amhara lady who was like asking me what's going on, why aren't they answering and stuff like that. She's trying to fix her passport. Actually, it had nothing to do with the unrest back home, and she still couldn't get in contact with them. So it's not just Oromo people, and on top of that, it's not just Oromo people back home. It's like the prisoners that have been unlawfully detained. They have no answers for us and have not, like, they should be checking on their citizens, you know what I mean? And they haven't, and there's been no word about them. So yeah, it's an issue here and there and for all Ethiopians, not just Oromos.
So last time we were up here, there wasn't tents, and now there's tents, and you all have made an occupation of this. Is there anything you'd want to say just in general about this space that you all are taking, and also like how it's sort of this vigil space now for Hachalu Hundessa, who now you're taking up the space to remember him? Anything else you'd want to say in regards to just this space?
Pretty much we're occupying this space this loudly because we've been ignored for more than a month now, and we need people to see and hear us. So yeah, we've set up a memorial for Hachalu, and we're just using this space for like everybody in the community to come and like pay respects, and like elders have been coming by and giving us like messages of encouragement. We've had like ex-Oromo freedom fighters come and give us speeches, men and women, which is really cool. And yeah, it's been really like powerful, I feel like, for the community to have a space where it's not our own community center, us only in the space. It's like everybody can see us here. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
No.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any of you all? Yeah. You want to stand over here? Yeah. You want to talk about what's on this table too, if you know?
Yeah, I'll talk about what's on table. This is a candle, just like memorial for Hachalu Hundessa, and we're trying to like tell people like, you know, this is what we're doing for Hachalu Hundessa, to like appreciate what he did for us, you know. But yeah, I'll talk about what happened in, back home too.
Yes, please.
Because of what government doing to Oromo people. So they basically shutting down the internet. They're not like trying to let the people outside of Ethiopia, they ain't trying to let people know. So they trying to basically, they doing the dirty work by shutting down the internet in Ethiopia. And then they locked up Oromo activists and Oromo icons by like trying to make law like trying to make like law, trying to make fall like arrest, like something that's not true. So yeah, and they actually killing Oromo people. They kill more than what COVID-19. So pandemic, like we don't have a problem with pandemic in Ethiopia, but then they killing more people more than what pandemic doing, you know. So that's what I'm trying to let people know, that actually what's going on in Ethiopia is wrong, what the government doing to our people. And our people just want freedom. They don't want nothing else. They just want freedom, and they just want their people back. And Jawar Mohammed is the icon of the Oromo people, and they didn't like him because of what he owned, the media that he owned. They couldn't shut down the media that he owned. That's why they had to lock him up. And the election that was supposed to be happening between him and Abiy Ahmed, they knew Jawar Mohammed's gonna win the election, so they didn't trying to like bring him out for election. They're trying to lock him up, and then they're trying to say like, they're trying to tell like the people, oh, the election passed because he was in the jail. So they're trying to lie to the people, you know.
Can you talk more about Jawar? He was also from Minneapolis. He created one of the largest media networks, the Oromo Media Network. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, can you talk about more
So Jawar Mohammed is one of the citizens in the United States. He lives in Minnesota, and he created a media called OMN, Oromo Media Network. So the media runs by him. He has media everywhere in the country and everywhere in the state. So the government couldn't shut down the internet, and they couldn't compete with him, you know. And he's the one that's doing everything for Oromo people, and Bakala Gerba too. And then they tell him Oromo is good, Auromia should be free, but Auromia is good. And then Jawar Mohammed went to visit his family, you know, back home. He's trying to see. He never been to Auromia like that, so for first time when he been there, and then they're trying to make like fall arrest, you know, after Hachalu's death. They knew something's gonna happen. Like they knew they're gonna, you know, Oromo people, they're gonna wake up, and so they immediately went to Jawar Mohammed's house and they took him and locked him up, you know, just because of Hachalu Hundessa's death. And he didn't even get to see Hachalu Hundessa's death, you know. During funeral, he was in the jail. He was being tortured. He was getting beat up, you know, by a government, and that's not something right to do, you know. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the time.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yep.
Do you have family there right now?
I have a couple family over there.
Are you scared for them? Even if
but
beyond that, how is the feeling of like folks back home?
Right now, me standing right in front of the unicorn, speaking up, something might happen to them. We actually, like, you know, something dangerous might happen to them. So like I just hope for like nothing happen to them, you know, because of like if you speak up, if you're open-minded and you speak up against Ethiopian government, they'll actually torture your family that are back home. If you have business in Africa, they will take it away. They were trying to do something that's like unforgettable, you know. They just want to be unfair, and then they kill a lot of Oromo people. That's like, it's just crazy, you know. It's just unbelievable about what they're doing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the time. Anybody else?
Tuiji.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to come in. Okay.
You want to stand over here with the flag?
Yeah.
So you can talk about basically what brings you out here, and then I have some questions for you.
Okay. My name is Tuiji Abdullah. I'm a resident in Minnesota. First, I want to say thanks to you guys for coming here and trying to make our voice to be heard. We have been here for about a week right now. We've been sleeping here, trying to get some answers from this Ethiopian embassy here, and the reason is these people, our people back home, the Oromo people, the Ethiopian government is committing genocide against Oromo people. He's killing us one by one and trying to commit genocide. If we see the reason the outer world is not hearing about Oromo people is The Ethiopian government, when they start killing, they shut it down, the internet and everything, so that people can record and post it. So this is the government that Oromo people are dealing with. At this time, we have this pandemic, coronavirus, going on all over the world. But at the same time, Ethiopian government is arresting the Oromo people. Like, if you see the prison that they're arresting Oromo people in, is like there are over 50 plus people in a small room, which is a risk to their life. Our leaders are being arrested. Our singers are being arrested. Our leaders are being killed. A child is being killed. This is what we want the world to hear. As Oromo, we will fight until we get answer. We are a peaceful people. We don't, as Oromo people, they don't have no army, but we protest as a peaceful people.
There's been a lot of protests around here from the Oromo community, and this one for 7-8 days now. Can you just talk about how this feels to come out here, and also what do you hope from this?
Hopefully, my hope from this is like what we want from Ethiopian government is one and one, to stop killing Oromo people. We want our voice to be heard. These people, they took our land, our everything. To be honest, for being here, I don't mind being here more than a week, because our brothers, our mothers, our sisters are being killed, are being slaughtered back home. So this is nothing to me, you know. We are trying and to protest the American government to hear us, the United Nations to hear us, to stop funding the Ethiopian government, because Ethiopian government is using that money to buy guns or some other stuff and killing Oromo people. We as Oromo community, as a citizen of America, we pay taxes here. That tax we pay here is the money is being sent to Ethiopia. They're helping Ethiopian government. We want justice as a peaceful people. So we will stay here no matter how long it is until we get answer, until we get justice, until we get what we came for here.
And then up here, there's the building management took away some of the vigil stuff from up here, from my understanding. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about like how have you all been treated up here doing this occupation?
To be honest, the building, the property owner has talked to us. He has been nice to us, and he's been putting some pressure on the embassy, because what we have is something we're fighting for, something that's true, which is our life here. So we explained to him why we're here, and he was so nice. He said, you guys can stay here as long as you want until your voice is being heard.
So do you have, if people were at home watching this, what would you want to say to them? And what is your feelings about even being so far away, and knowing that so much upheaval is happening in Auromia?
Being far away from my back home is like, if here in this country, I'm really feeling a pain more than those who are in there, and that pain comes from why I'm not there with them, fighting for freedom with those people. You know, I don't really care if I die protesting for peace, you know. And for those people who are at home and listening on the social media, we want you guys to stand with us. This is a human right violation. They are committing genocide. We want you guys to stand with us so we can fight for justice, for peace. That's what I'm saying. That's what I have. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
I think that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
You got some questions though?
Yes, I got some questions. Can you bring us back with some history?
Oh, the
Yeah,
bottom?
can you bring us back with some history? Can you give us like some knowledge, the audience, as to where the Oromo struggle recently has been?
It hasn't been a recent thing. This has been going on for a long time. Oromo people have been struggling. We are the majority here in Ethiopia. And no matter what we have done, our people have always been trying to disperse. No matter what they try to do, they try to erase us. But the one thing that Oromo people the Ethiopian government can never do is erase us. They've done a lot of things ever since we've been there, and all they've done ever is try to erase us, but we still here. No matter what, they try to kill our voices, and we're still here to this day. We're still gonna move forward. Hey, we're privileged to be here in America, and that's the reason why we stand for our people. We're here to talk about it and try to give the voice to the voiceless. I mean, Hachalu was one of our voices, and they took him away from us. And what they're doing right now is they arrested one of our political leaders. Jawar first of all, he went to the U of M. He's been a voice for the voiceless ever since he was here. He's always been standing for the right thing. And right now, we're here trying to stand up for him because he's out there imprisoned with no rights or anything like that. And that's why we're here every day trying to fight for him.
Can you talk about Jawar?
Yeah.
So he gets arrested right after Hundessa is assassinated. Can you talk about sort of like how that transpired? It seemed like a targeted thing where they went after multiple opposition leaders. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, and this was what's been happening for a long time though. Jawar's not the first. Jawar came back home believing that, hey, there's going to be a change. We believed in the prime minister, thinking that he was going to be the change for us. So what the Ethiopian government has done really well is putting somebody that's one of us in top of that ladder, and we believe them. And like, okay, this is one of us. He's not going to switch up on us. But the thing about it is they get up there, and that's the one thing they do. They turn against our own people. And that's the one thing we're trying to stop right now. The one person that has not done that is, no matter how much views, how many people follow him, how many people trust in him, is Jawar. Jawar, no matter what, has always stand up for us and has never changed his, belief and stand up for the voiceless. And that's why we stand with Jawar at all time.
So we're all here, and this is the Ethiopian Consulate in Minnesota. We're hearing that, Minnesota spends, a lot, Oromo diaspora is big here. Can you just talk about that, and then talk about how these protests have, as we just heard, gone to the governor's residence, gone to politicians saying stop funding Ethiopia because what Ethiopia is doing with the weapons. Can you just bring that all back?
No, the reason why we out here is to show the people back home that they're not alone. No matter where we are, hey, we everywhere. No matter how they think they could silence the people back home by shutting off the internet and all that. But the thing is, they could never silence us. The reason why we are every day is and protesting for them is to show the people that back home that we are there with them in the march and everything else. We will fight for them. If they don't have a voice, we'll be their voice here in America. America has been funding Ethiopia for a long time. And that's the one thing that we're trying to stop. Hey, we all here in America paying taxes and everything else like everybody else. How are we going to get victimized by the American government? We're the same people, no matter what. Ethiopian people, hey, like I say, Ethiopian people in America, for me, is all lives matter movement. They try to play the victim, and they try to make American government believe that they are the victim. But if you ask them, what are you standing for? What are you protesting for? They will never tell you why. We're telling them, hey, we hurt. We're getting hurt. Our people are dying every day. And they're going to tell you, oh, no, you're victimizing us. And they can't give you no proof of us victimizing them. And that's why we stand here every day. We will fight for our Kero, our people back home every day. And we won't stop for that. We want to show them that, hey, you're dying back home, but here we have the freedom to speak. Back home, they don't have the freedom to speak. You can't just be out here carrying an Oromo flag. You will get shot on the spot. But here, we could put a flag anywhere we want and nobody every day. Fight for them and show them that we're here with them step of the way.
All right. Just make sure it's check. All right. Hold them both together. Sorry for that. Thank you. So thank you for that. When it comes to the money being spent, like you said, like we said, there's a huge diaspora here. What would you rather hope, if American government could hear this, or if Tim Walz could hear this, if you would want them to redirect the monies that are going to the Ethiopian government, what would you want them to go to?
The one thing I would want them to direct it to is like, hey, stop believe in everything was going on in Ethiopia. They gave him the Nobel Peace Prize without really knowing what he has done. Now that they know what's really going on, the one thing they need to do is take that Nobel Peace Prize, because he really doesn't deserve it. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, we was one of the first people when he was first elected. We believed in him. We thought he was gonna be our change. And you know what? They turned our back on us. And now he has the Nobel Peace Prize without really deserving it. And the one thing that we want to do is put the money in our community. Put the money into the majority. We are the majority. Imagine being a majority in a country and being treated like the minority. We've been there the longest. They've tried to take us out, and no one can. And we'll be strong no matter what. But the fact is, we need help. We've been asking for help for years and years, and we'll still be there no matter what.
I'm glad you brought up the sort of the Ethiopian sort of the counter to this, and because I want to ask about that, because we do hear, you know, and we see that there's counter protests to some of the Oromo protests, right? And then they point to some villages might have got burnt, other Christian places might have got burnt, where Auromia is also like multiple religions. So there's those questions that I have, but what do you think that they're coming from? Like, where is their point of view coming from?
So the one thing that I would bring that back to is the same thing as the Black Lives Matter movement. Hey, we've been here in Minnesota. You've seen what happened after George Floyd died, right? Hey, the only way people are able to hear, you could peaceful protest all you want, and no one will hear you because you're peacefully protesting. Unless you burn things down and get the attention from the media and everything else, nobody will be heard. And that's the same way we feel. Hey, Oromo people are not just burning anything down. We're trying to be heard. We've tried the peaceful protest. Black Lives Matter has tried the peaceful protest, and nothing has been changed from that. And this is exactly what we're doing. Hey, we're trying to just get our voices heard. If they're not hearing us, we will have to burn something down in order for them to hear us. Otherwise, they will never hear us.
So now we have this new reinvigorated generation that seems like it's about its business. You all are out here, you're part of the diaspora, you're not even there, and you're out here repping for Oromo, Auromia. And so where does this go from here? Does this generation make some change? If not, can we expect more from the next generation?
No, one thing I will tell you is our generation and the generation before us would not be the same. We would not stand for the people hurting us and standing there and getting hurt by everybody else. We're one of the one thing they say is in Oromo, like this is the way I could put it. They say the last generation, onne laftani. That means their heart is soft. That's one thing that we would not be. We would not stand and get beat and mistreated the way we are. We will stand up for our people. No matter where we are in this world, I promise you, we will stand up for our people, and that's a fact.
Anything else you'd want to say?
That'd be all for me.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Anybody else feel like talking? We're here live in Minneapolis or St. Paul. We're here outside of an occupation of the Ethiopian Consulate, and we are speaking to some of the youth participating. And we have another youth that's going to speak in a moment. You good? Just remember this part. Yeah. Okay. You can start if you have something to start off with. Otherwise, I can ask you a question.
Can you ask questions?
Yeah, for sure. What does this feel like? You have tents out here. This has been happening for over a week, and you're calling for some awareness to the Oromo struggle and for other sort of demands. What does this all feel like to you?
Yes, Nico, as you know, like we've been here for the past 7 days now. You came and checked us out on the first day we were here, and I spoke with you. And honestly, it's been kind of hard for us to not, like, we feel disrespected by the Ethiopian people that work, like the Ethiopian government that works here. They haven't, like, said anything to us. Like, they called us, but they're manipulating, they're playing with us, basically. They're treating us like shit. And we just feel disrespected, and we were about to, our plan was only like to stay 1 week, but now like we have decided that we will not leave until they hear us out. And honest, like the property manager is pushing them to come out and speak because we're on somebody's property. We know that, and like we don't want to be disrespectful to the community, but if this is what we have to do, we will do what it takes to get our voices heard.
Yeah, can you talk about just basically that disrespectful feelings? It seems like that's why you all came here in the first place, was out of sort of the pent-up frustration of sort of disrespect, and now you are able to stay here because the building manager sounds like he's okay with it, but also like you're not getting what you want.
They're getting frustrated. Like there are people that work here. There's other people that work here, and the workers are getting frustrated because we have occupied the parking spaces, and we're just here on somebody's property. You know, there's a restaurant right next to us, and people can't come and enjoy their food because they can't park in there. But it is what it is. Like, we got to do what we got to do. And honestly, like, we'll just continue it.
Well, yeah, and it sounds like this tactic is working from the building from the building owners look at it, because he's pressuring them now, huh?
Yes.
So when it comes to just protests in general, there's a lot of organization around the Oromo community, and a lot of protests have been happening. Caravan yesterday.
Yes, yesterday.
Protests every weekend, it seems. Can you talk about these and like the organizing behind them?
The young group of Oromo kids are the ones that are doing it. The Keros are the ones that are organizing this because we want to be the voice for the people back home. If the government here cannot do anything, the Ethiopian government here that has a relationship with the people back home. So our demands are very simple. We want them to put a statement out saying that they're against what's going on in Ethiopia, and if they're not, then if they're not saying anything, they're with them, and that's injustice to our people, and that they gotta go from this place, basically. Yes, there are a lot of protests happening. We're trying to be as peaceful as we can. We are not violent. We speak with the police ahead of time, but it gets out of control sometimes, and that's like Magarsa said, like the Black Lives Matter protests, they try to be peaceful. It doesn't work. Like, people don't hear your voice unless you're apparently you have to be violent to be heard. So it's not violent. Like it's not as safe as we plan it to be. But if that's what we gotta do, we will do what it takes. Honestly, yeah.
What are you hoping? It seems like because of it's youth, like you said, that are running these, organizing these protests. What are you hoping for the future when it comes to maybe 10 years from now?
Yeah. For the my hope for the future is just for our people to be free and just have their basic human rights and just, you know, like be free and just like you don't have to live under a system, a government that doesn't like allow you to have your own democracy and just have your own land, live your own life, like peaceful life. So that's why we're here. That's my hope for the future, and that Oromo people get their freedom from the Ethiopian government. Yeah.
How much time do you think you've spent out here in the last week? How much time have you spent out here?
I swear, I've been here 7 days. Since last Thursday. I slept here.
Slept here every day?
Yes.
Wow. So what does that feel like?
Tiring. Like, there's days that we stay up the whole night because we take turns watching people that want to sleep that can't like stay up anymore. And we get up early in the morning because if people come to talk to us, we don't want them to just think that we're sleeping. We're trying to be as clean as we can so people don't think that we're messing up the property. So it's really tiring, but we're not stopping.
Can you talk about some of the discussions and conversations you've had with passersby?
So we just make awareness. Us being here is making a big awareness. People have stopped their car parked in the parking lot and just come up to us, like talking to us what is going on. We're like, oh, there's injustice happening in Ethiopia. You guys need stop funding the Ethiopian government. just your tax money is going to the wrong place. Basically, just stand with us if you are against if you're against human rights violation. Just stand with us. They take pictures, like the youth here. We learn about our history. We talk to each other about our history. We tell each other we read poems and everything. We sing in circles. We dance just to have that vibe, our culture, bring it back, make our identity stronger, basically, and just enjoy this time together and remember why we're here for every time. Mm-hmm.
I remember I saw on social media some videos from you all in the underground parking lot because it was raining outside.
Yes.
And it looked like a fun time.
Yes, it was.
So it seems like you all are along with this sort of protest and occupation for a reason, you're also building community itself.
Yes,
Can
definitely.
you talk about how it's how much organizing it goes into creating this, being open, being available to speak to people, cleaning up, having food, communicating with the world, social media, doing all these interviews. You've now done a lot of interviews that people have been coming by. Can you talk about just that in general?
It's kind of frustrating, but I'm personally, I don't like speaking in front of cameras and everything, but if I gotta do it for my people, I swear, I'm messing up a lot right now, but if I have to do it for a good cause, which is I want the freedom for my people. My family is back in Ethiopia, and there are days that I went with months without speaking to them because there was an internet shutdown by the government, and they beat my brother-in-law. He was almost beat to death in the capital of Ethiopia because he was Oromo. That needs to stop. I'm here every day for the people back home. If I can't go fight there in person, I will fight here, and that's why I'm here. And it's it's frustrating for us, but this is what we're doing right now.
Anything else you want to say?
For the people at home, please go do your research and learn about the Oromo protest, and just come out and support us in any way. We need more body. If we need colored people, just people of color, anyone, just come outside and support us. You don't have to be here in the night, but the more people there is, the people the news people are gonna come out and ask what's going on. Yesterday, the only way we could get their attention is to go outside and be in the highway. They came in 2.5 seconds. Why is that? Why can't you come to us when we're being peaceful? So they're always trying to find a fault in us. So please just come out and be peacefully and let our voices be heard. And thank you so much, Unicorn Riot, for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I got it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Be careful of the bottom so just hold this together. Okay. You can introduce yourself if you want. Can you talk about what it's like up here now after a week?
Hi everyone, my name is Wako. I'm here with the Keros of Minnesota. Kero means youth. In the language of Auromia, I'm here with the youth. What was your question again?
Yeah, how does it feel? This is over 7 days, and it's a lot of community that's come out here. How does that feel?
It feels great, honestly. It's coming together. At first, it was just an imagination, right? It's a vision that we had of coming together and showing, in a way, emulating the memorial of George Floyd. That's on 38th and Franklin, or 38th in Chicago. And we wanted to come here and be here 24 hours, 7 days a week, just to put pressure on the consulate, the Ethiopian consulate here, because they're quiet on us, and they're still quiet on us. But they don't understand that as youth, we are relentless. We have nothing better to do but to stand up for justice. We have nothing better to do but to stand up for our freedom and to fight for our freedom. We have nothing better to do but to come out here to liberate ourselves, because the fire is under us, right? Life is being taken away left and right. Life is being taken away right here in this land, in the United States of America, where our black American brethren, our brothers and sisters, cannot sleep because their life is threatened left and right, by the system here. And back in Auromia, our brothers and sisters cannot sleep because their life is being threatened left and right. So what do we do? Because we feel like that's our life too. You know, that can be me, whose life was taken away, just like Hachalu's life was taken away, just like any everyday normal Oromo in Oromia's life is being taken away, just like George Floyd's life was taken away. That could be me. So this has me getting up, and this is the vision that we had together, to come together. Let's occupy this space peacefully, and let's make this space a sacred space, commemorating the importance of life, the sacredness of life. And we've been here 24/7, you know, every day, at every hour. We've had somebody here, and yes, it feels great that this is coming together the way it is coming together. We as a youth brought this together. We as a Kero made this together, and now our elders, our mothers, and our grandmothers are behind us. Our elder men are behind us. The whole community is behind us, and they don't see nothing wrong with what we're doing here and why we are here. You know, the thing that's making more and more sense to me as an organizer, as a person that's taking a part in this, as one of the Keros, is that we can't always be cordial. We can't always be nice and respectful of people's property when we're trying to have our voices heard, and when we're trying to say, hey, life matters, black life matters, you know. And if our voice it doesn't get heard, we're just gonna be louder, you know, and you say, hey, this is private property, please get off this property. No, we didn't come here to obey the law, honestly, and some of these laws are unjust, you know. And we're out here using our voice for life, and we're saying that life, you know, is greater than property, life is greater than profit. And we have people telling us, hey, this is private property, or this, you can't do this here and there. We're like, listen, we're not going to listen to you because you're not listening to us. We hear what you're saying, but it doesn't matter to us. What you're saying about property and profit doesn't matter to us compared to life, you know. And life matters a lot more than what you're talking about to us right now. And we're out here. I could be out at home playing video games. I could be at home sleeping. You know, I could be at home just chilling, eating. I could be at home having a session with my homies. But I'm out here because right now life is being threatened. And for a long time, life has been threatened. And the government, the systems, and I'll be very direct and very clear. The U.S. government, the federal government of Ethiopia have no respect for life. And they have been violating the basic human rights of every black individual here in the United States, in Oromia, all over the globe. Every system has been violating the basic human rights of life everywhere. My basic rights for life was not given to me by a system, was not given to me by a government. By the nature of my birth, my life is sacred and should be protected at all times. So when it's violated, that's a problem. It's not a political issue, it's a humanitarian issue. So if one life is violated, then all lives are violated. Justice anywhere is justice somewhere is injustice to anywhere, right? It's a threat to justice everywhere. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So yeah, we're out here.
You spoke about some of the when we talked to you last week. You talked about some of the parallels between Black Lives Matter and the Oromo struggle, and you also talked about today. Can you expound on sort of the question that was brought up a little earlier, where you have the counter protest or the counter voice to the Oromo voice being, well, they burnt up things, and can you just talk to that frustration beyond that from the Oromo struggle, from what we heard just a minute ago, and you even reiterated, property is not worth people's life. Can you talk about maybe how much lives have been lost, how much Oromo lives have been lost compared to the property?
What's been recorded by Amnesty International as far as Oromo lives have been lost in the last 2 weeks is 500. And it's definitely a lot more than that, right? And as far as Oromo Keros, Oromo youth who have been arrested, 5,000. And it's definitely more than that, right? So what number is too great? You know? So if we look at history and we look at the histories and the genocides that have happened in history, let's unpack some of these things. The Rwandan genocide. It wasn't until, you know, hundreds of thousands of people were being killed until the Western world decided to give it some attention, right? Many of these genocides, the Rohingya genocide, wasn't actually ever given any attention by the Western countries, by the Western world. The genocide, the Bangladeshi genocide, wasn't given any acknowledgement whatsoever. These are ethnic cleansings that are happening. Right now, Oromos being killed means Oromos are being ethnically cleansed. You know, I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. I'm just at it in the beginning of it. I'm using my voice right now. It's like, hey, they killed a life. It wasn't just the first one. Actually, there's been many hundreds that have been killed, and this is turning into a genocide. We better do something about it right now. You know? So when I say that life over property, this is not just a statement. This is a truth. This is a universal truth that our governments have seemed to forgot about. And our governments have seemed to think that they are the highest authority when it comes to life. You know, but in reality, these governments are propped up and set up by life, by individuals who have life. So we give it life at the end of the day, and we can take the life away from it too. You know, so in Ethiopia right now, the counter-protest says all lives matter. The counter-protest says we are all Ethiopian. The counter-protest is trying to discredit our story as Oromos. Because as Oromos, what we're saying is, hey, the history of Ethiopia and how Ethiopia has been set up is a lie, is false. Coming from our perspective, we've been subjugated, we've been put down, we've been killed, we've been violated. Our language has been taken away from us. Our culture, our way of life, our religion, our spirituality, our form of governance, our land has been taken away from us. And we're saying, hey, we are not Ethiopian because the story of Ethiopia doesn't include us. And we still live here, and it still doesn't want to include us, and it just wants to subjugate and force us to a story that we was never a part of. You know, so we're out here telling the truth of the history of who we are, where we come from, our roots, and how Ethiopia was formed. Ethiopia is just a borders that was drawn after World War I. There's over 82 cultures in there. You know, over 88 languages spoken in there. So to draw a border around a certain area and call it Ethiopia and say all these people are not Ethiopian is a falsehood. That's not multinational. That creates problems because it doesn't acknowledge the individuality and the identity of these different cultures. You know, and these minority cultures end up getting violated because there's not a protection for them. Now, the honest truth in Ethiopia right now, Oromos are the largest ethnicity. And Oromo's lives have been taken away decades and centuries after centuries after centuries, right? But Oromos are not the only culture, the only ethnicity whose life has been violated, whose human rights has been violated for decades. The Afar, the Sidamo, the Somalis, the Waleta, these are different cultures whose lives have been taken away. But as Oromos, we're big enough to stand up, you know, and have been fighting for generations. Generations. I'm talking about, I'm a fourth generation right now, fifth generation Oromo fighting for my liberties and my freedom. I'm right here in the United States of America because of those same reasons. You know, I didn't just come here because I'm like, yo, I don't like my land. I'm just coming to come over here and chill out here. I had to leave there because my life was threatened. You know, I don't even know my own birthday. You know what I'm saying? So when I say again, life over property, the counter-protest saying all lives matter, the counter-protest saying we are all Ethiopian, let's all be one, this is a falsehood. You're still not listening to us. You still don't want to know what our story is. You just want to perpetuate a story that includes all of us, but doesn't include us actually. You know, that story includes us once you listen to us. You know, we're not here trying to break nothing down. We're trying to, we want to be heard. We want to be included, and we want a space for ourselves. This earth is huge and is very, very large, you know? So when you're talking about making decisions about policies, when you're talking about making a country, Ethiopia, and making a democracy, we better be included in this shit. Because we are a peaceful people. We have a history of being very peaceful. You know, and we are a freedom-loving people. So if we are a peaceful people, it doesn't mean we're pacifists. It doesn't mean that when you come and you subjugate your identities and your perspective upon us, that we're just gonna take it and we're gonna crawl up into a dark space. We get up. Because that's where our history is. Our history is getting up. You know, our liberty is violated, our freedom is being violated, our land is being taken away. We get up. Because we'd rather fight for what's ours than you just take it away from us, and now we live a life of slavery. You know, that's what we're about. That's not what we're about.
We have pictures of Jawar Mohammed.
Yeah.
Can you talk about Jawar Mohammed as we look at some of these pictures?
Yes.
The importance of him, maybe his Minnesota ties, and sort of what's happened.
You know, in my perspective, what's really made Jawar Mohammed very important to us is that he has tied the Oromo politics from the time of my father and my grandfather to us youth right now. He has he modernized modernized Oromo politics and what's going on in Auromia for us right now. You know, and he also it showed us why it's important for us to be politically educated and also to stand up for what is right instead of saying, hey, instead of, letting the politicians do it. Jawar Mohammed wasn't a politician whatsoever starting out. He was just a freedom-loving individual that got up to fight for the freedom of his people and ended up in a position of, hey, you know what? You love our people so much and you're fighting for our people so much. You should be the one that's leading our people. You know, and he loved it. He wanted to help our people so much that he forsook his citizenship here in the U.S. and moved back to Ethiopia, to Oromia, to help the people back there and get into a position of leadership since the elections are coming. You know, but Oromia, Ethiopia is not the same as the U.S. here, and the way politics works there is very, very different. And Abiy Ahmed knew that Jawar Mohammed was going to win by a landslide. And after Hachalu was killed, and next thing you know, Jawar Mohammed and Bakale Garba, another political leader of ours, was jailed. Why do Jawar Mohammed and Bakale Garba need to be imprisoned if Hachalu Hundessa was the one that's killed? Are they accusing Bakale Garba and Jawar Mohammed of killing Hachalu? What are they doing? The accusation is that you are inciting violence in the country. The accusation is that you are a terrorist. Just like Antifa, just like our youth here, who rose up, they rose up, there's an uprising, but they want to call them looters and rioters. Looting and rioting is like an opportunity situation, right? But these people didn't wake up and say, yo, I want to loot and riot. No, they rose up for the fact that George Floyd's life was taken away. They burned down the building because they weren't being listened to. Property, it'll be brought back up again. So Jawar Mohammed literally, the fact that it was just salt on the wound. Hachalu Hundessa was killed. And then next Jawar Mohammed and Bakala Garba was taken arbitrarily and thrown into prison without any due process, without any charges whatsoever. How are we supposed to feel? But we're here again.
What's your hope for them? Obviously, people have hoped and demanded that they be freed. What's the update from there? Do you know? Like they've seen, Jawar's had a court date or something, but he might, and then even the Seattle folks, if you can give us an update from his case and the Seattle case, if you know them. The two cats from Seattle that are locked up, but might have got out on some kind of probate.
Yeah, the two individuals from Seattle are getting out. They're U.S. citizens. I don't know complete details about that, but their situation is changing from what it was before. Jawar and Bakale Garba, they have a court date. That's all we know for now. As far as whether it will be a fair process and whatnot, we don't trust it whatsoever, because who has harmed us is the federal government of Ethiopia, and we do not trust them, and we do not believe that they will dispense justice rightfully and in a moral way whatsoever. We don't believe that they would do this, And we're very sure that because they are the ones that the Ethiopian government feel like these two individuals in the Oromo community are a threat. And because they feel that they're a threat, I'm very much sure that they're going to do whatever they can do to make sure that they're not a threat anymore. You know, we do not believe them. I do not at all respect the authority of the Ethiopian government whatsoever, and I don't think they have the ability to actually dispense justice whatsoever. There is no justice. They're not giving any justice. And if we're looking for justice for Hachalu Hundessa, for Auromia, and for Oromos, it's not going to be the federal government of Ethiopia that's going to give it to us. And we're not looking for justice through them. We want justice from them, meaning they're the perpetuators of violence, and they're the ones who have wronged us, but they're not the ones, again, who's going to give us the justice. It's like saying these are the ones who hurt us. And if we're in court, the person that hurt us is also the judge. It doesn't make sense, right? So no. We don't believe that they'll give us justice whatsoever.
What does a just Oromia look to you?
What is a just Oromia look?
Oromia look like to you?
A just Oromia looks like us having political freedom, us being able to express ourselves politically, us being able to express ourselves culturally, and also us being able to express ourselves economically. You know, just Oromia means that we're allowed to practice our democratic forms, our ancestral democratic forms called the Gada system. It means that we can practice our spiritual forms, traditional spiritual forms, whether Islam, whether it's Christian or Waqifatumma, that we can practice, we can move around however we will. And a just Oromia means a multinational government, a multinational country. You know, if it's not just Oromia for ourselves, then it's a country that's multinational, that's run by multinational ethnicities rather than one ethnicity controlling or governing all ethnicities, and not having the ability, the capacity to actually govern fairly and correctly, equitably amongst everybody. So a just Oromia looks like an equitably governed country. You know, and a just Oromia means that we have a truth and reconciliation about all the wrongs that have been done in the past. There's no way that we can move on without acknowledging the things that have happened in the past, the people that have been killed in the past, the injustices that have happened in the past histories. We must acknowledge this in order to move on. Just like in the U.S., we must acknowledge the injustices that have happened to our Black American brothers and sisters before we move on. Just like our Native American brothers and sisters, that must be acknowledged before we move on. We can't just throw it under the rug and like, oh, those are our ancestors, our forefathers, we had nothing to do with that. No, you have something to do with that, because you're benefiting from that right now. You're benefiting from that privilege of your forefathers right now. So we have to acknowledge what had happened, and we have to set rights and wrongs. If land was taken away 100 years ago and you're benefiting from that land right now, I'm sorry, but you need to give that land back. You know, I don't care if it's like, oh, that was 100 years ago. I've been on this land for over 100 years. You can't just take it. Well, if you take something of mine and you had it for 100 years, I have rights to that still. I never verbally gave it to you. You took it away from me. You stole it away from me. And if anything, you tricked me out of it. You know, if I didn't by my own free will give you something that's mine, then I own it at all times. Even if it's 100 years later, it's still mine and I need to have it back. So there needs to be a truth and reconciliation about all the wrongs, the human rights violations and injustices that have happened in the past. Has to happen in order for there to be a new just world in the future. It just must happen. There's no way that we can just bulldoze over what has happened to say, all right, let's go forward from this. No, we're not going forward until we account for every wrong that has been done to our people whatsoever. We're not stopping there.
Thank you for that precise, concise answer. Anything else you want to say? There's you know, it's a process, you know, struggling to get justice, and like you said, it doesn't seem like you can even get justice from this government who has given you such non-justice.
Yeah.
what's the move now? We're going into winter here in Minnesota soon. What's to come?
I'm starting to feel like this is just a way of life. The way of life before wasn't necessarily a way of life. You know, we're just moving, we're just passively living, right? This is actively living where you're fighting for life. You know, we're not fighting for nothing else but for life, for the proliferation of life, for life to be free, for life to express itself, right? For life to be whatever it wants to be, as long as it doesn't hurt another life. And there's consequences already set up for that. So when you ask what is next, we're coming into winter. We're not going back from this. And winter doesn't scare me at all. I mean, I live here in Minnesota. I've been here in Minnesota for a minute. Winter doesn't scare me whatsoever. And what's next is just doing the process. And we, in all honesty, we don't plan everything out and then we do it. And we never feel ready whatsoever. We never are ready. We just do it. And as we doing it, you know, opportunities come in which we need to act, and processes come in which we need to work. And we just work those processes. As far as this protest right here, as far as what we're doing here, we're trying to figure out novel ways of trying to make an impact. So instead of only just protesting, we don't want to just use our voice and just yelling out into the void. We want to be very specific and strategic on how we use our voice and how we want to be heard so that we can make an impact. And the way we want to make an impact here is not just as a silo, as just Oromos, but we want to make impact as black Oromos, as black individuals. And we want to contribute to black liberation, because this is black liberation for us. And we see it very clearly that Oromo lives matter. We don't say that. We say Black Lives Matter, because that's redundant. To say Oromo Lives Matter is redundant, because Oromos are black, you know? So we just say Black Lives Matter. So what is next is really globalizing this movement. You know, Black Lives Matter movement, the Oromo liberation movement. This has already happened globally, you know? And the indigenous movements that's happening all over the world. Zimbabwe is coming up, you know what I mean? These movements need to be tied and connected together, because they're all the same thing, and they all come around the same ideology of life is sacred. It's not an ideology, it's just a right. It's just a truth. The truth that life is sacred. And that's why all these indigenous groups, Hong Kong is like the trailblazer, you know? All these groups come out, all these movements, they have the same thing, and that life is sacred. Black lives matter. Life is important. And who is the aggressor? Who is the perpetrator of against life? Is these systems all over the world that just don't seem to understand that life is important. You know, they just don't seem to understand it, because for so long, they've been made to believe. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't know how I feel like I can understand simply, my brothers here can understand simply that life is sacred. We don't have to explain to each other why Black Lives Matter and Oromo liberation is the same thing. They just get it. It makes sense to us, you know what I mean? So next steps here is to continue to globalize this movement and continue to intertwine and connect Black Lives Matter with Oromo liberation, and just continue to evolve and just be only black liberation. And then, as you see, the umbrella of that is human liberation. So anybody can stand with us, because at the end of the day, we're standing up for humanity. Because life is humanity, right? Life is animals. Life is the earth, you know? But if we got to stand up for ourselves as human beings before we stand up for other life forms too. So this is the next step, is to continue doing what we're doing. The next step is to continue being consistent in doing what we're doing. The next step is to continue getting up even when winter comes. Not getting the energy down, keeping the energy up here, having that same energy even throughout the winter. Because at the end of the day, the counter revolution or the counter protest or the system, what they want is for this to calm down so we can get back to normal. So they can get back to controlling us and making us consumers. But no longer do we want to be consumers. We want to produce. We want to produce life. We want to celebrate life. We want to live better. We just want to live better, you know. Please leave us alone. Please leave our black American brothers alone. Please leave the Oromos alone. You know? Actually, not please. Leave us alone. Just leave us alone. If you don't understand that life is sacred, just leave us alone. We're commanding this now. And here's another thing. We are not pacifists. We are not pacifists. We will not just stand and let you kill us. We know life is sacred, and we're not afraid to defend life, because life is sacred. We're not afraid to fight for freedom, because freedom is sacred. Liberty is sacred. Liberation is sacred. So again, we are not pacifists. We will not just stand and let you kill us. We will stand for what is right, and we will protect and defend life. That's all. You know, we are not pacifists. That needs to just be clearly said.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, we're peaceful though. We're peaceful.
Yeah, you're peaceful.
We're very peaceful.
But not pacifists.
Not pacifists. We're not pacifists. We're peaceful, but we're not pacifists. We are peace. We are so peaceful. We could teach class about peace. You know, we don't even need to teach a class. We just walk and you see, man, that person right there, he's very peaceful the way he's walking. The government can learn a lot from us. The police can learn from us. You know, what do they call them? Peace officers? Hell no, get out of here with that. They don't do that. You know, the government need to come learn from the people, the community, what peace is. They need to take a step back. They need to let us maintain the peace, because the peace is for us at the end of the day. And we create the peace too, and we can maintain the peace too. The police don't know how to do that. We can do that for ourselves. You know, we're peaceful people. And we also can dispense justice too. This is what we're commanding. Before, we can just come and say, hey, we want peace. Give us peace. But no, now we're saying, hey, we're here to bring peace. We're here to create peace. We are peaceful. And we're here protesting peacefully. We're not asking nobody for it. We're not demanding nobody. There's nobody we're asking for peace from. There's nobody that we're asking for justice from. We're just here commanding these things. But yeah.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd want to say?
Takuma unity. This right here, I just like to tell everybody that's watching right here, you know, when you think about saying peace, we go like this, right? Peace, right? This is a false. This is a lie. This is not peace. This is not peace. This is what you learned is peace. This is separation right here. It's separation. Peace, this is peace right here. Together, that's peace. And together doesn't mean the same. It doesn't mean the same. It means that we can live on the same plane, on the same planet, on the same earth, peacefully together. Meaning that you can be what you want to be, I can be what I want to be. You can have the perspective you want to have, I can have the perspective I want to have. You can believe who you want to believe, I can believe who I want to believe, and we can still be together peacefully. We can still live on the same planet, on the same earth, peacefully, you know, without having or needing to harm each other. This is true peace right here. From my ancestry, this is how it was, and we back to this. We don't do this no more. This is separation, peace. This is what we do right here. Peace. Learn from us. Learn from us. Learn from the black people, y'all. Learn from the black people, because we know what peace is right here. If you don't know what it is, we know what it is. We telling you right here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much, Unicorn Riot. We very, very much appreciate you being here with us. We very, very much appreciate you letting our people here use our voice on your platform. We very, very much appreciate it, because we want the people to know what we're about. We want the people to know who we are and to hear our voice. And we are the Kero. We are the Kero. We are the youth, the Oromo youth. That's who I am. That's who everybody here is. We are Kero, Oromo. Do your research, please. If you want to know more about the Oromo protests, what's happening back in Auromia, do the research. And we are Oromo. We are not Ethiopian, because that's a story that did not include us whatsoever. And if you want to know what our story is, come here. Come listen to us. We're here at 2550 University Avenue at the Consulate of Ethiopia, the Embassy of Ethiopia here. They shut down the building. They shut down the building here. They don't want to hear us. They don't want to listen to us. There's people being killed back home. And so we are here as a representative of our people to show that, hey, you're not listening to our people, what's going on. You're not giving them a chance to speak, nor are you giving any statements about what's going on back home. So we're here going to use our voice, if you're not going to use your voice in representation of us. And one last thing, amongst us, there's Muslims. Amongst us, there's Christians. Amongst us, there's like non-Muslims, non-Christians, non-religious people. You know what I mean? We have spiritual people here. But the one thing that connects all of us here, being different religions, that we can just eat together, be in the same space, is Oromuma. Is coming from the same land, coming from the same spirit, coming from the same culture. You know? So we don't even divide ourselves on the lines of religion. We don't do that because we know it makes no sense to do that. You know, we can be different religions and still be on the same land and still be respectful of each other and still be peaceful with each other. And look, we're demonstrating that as youth right here, being different religions and still being on the same, being peaceful with each other. We're not different factions. You don't see like the Muslims going somewhere else and protesting somewhere else. You don't see the Oromo Christians going somewhere else and protesting somewhere else. We come together. We're in the same community. We come to the same community center. We come to the same protests, the same marches, the same actions, and we're fighting for freedom in the same way. We're fighting for freedom together, being different. Emulate this. Learn from this. This is possible that we can be different people from different walks of life. You don't even have to be Oromo. You know what I mean? And we fight for the same thing. You can be different color. It don't matter. You can believe whatever you want to believe and you can still fight for life. You know, you can still fight for freedom. Others' freedom, not just yours. And fight for somebody else's liberty, somebody else's justice. You know? So you don't have to be the same to be doing this. So if you're at home looking like, oh man, I don't even look like him, you know, or I don't even believe like him, I don't know where he's from, you know, that don't matter. You hear what I'm saying, you hear my voice, you can understand the words coming out of my mouth, and you hear my heart most definitely. I bet you we don't have to speak the same language, and you can still understand what I'm talking about, you know? So yeah, it don't matter who you are. Just come out. Go to the George Floyd memorial. You know, go over there, come over here, go to the protest, anything that speaks for life. If the intention is that life is sacred, Black Lives Matter, if the intention is to get up and stand up for life, be there. That's where you need to be. It don't matter where it is, but that's where you need to be. And that's all I got to say, you know.
Thank you much.
Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, that was very well said. Thank you. You want to say one more thing?
So one thing I will add is the Ethiopian people, they're trying to divide us, you know, between Oromo Muslim and between Oromo Christian. So they're trying to turn against us, like they're trying to turn against us to each other so we can fight each other, you know. But that will never happen. We always takuma no matter what. Always takuma. And we fight as a Muslim, as a Christian, no matter what we do. We always together. So please do not try to divide us, and we always together. Thank you. That's all I can say.
Yeah, do a rap.
So
yeah, we got an artist here.
I'm an artist, so I go by the name of KHB, and I will do one song. I'm Oromo, and I'm Cairo. I will fight till I die for my people. I'm Oromo, and I'm Cairo. I'm so proud to be Oromo. I'm Oromo, and I'm Cairo. I will fight till I die for my people. I'm Oromo, and I'm Cairo. I'm so proud to be Oromo. I'm so proud to be Oromo. Dahil na Jesa warabe sa biya kaysa. Kerong gizedufte nafta niya tudlaysa. Ati toke chatu bar hunda sani kasa. Kaweke furadu gara ketis kabadu. Kerong tagatate waljalaha din tu. Oromia anda kunte subi katoko. Makale jujur tu berganda toko. Uniforme fate media rabate. Nuti sodanu kerong dikate. Takuma falmana kapsonis diate. Namuti beka Hachalu Hundessa. Kerong gizekate warabe sa desa. Kerong gizekate warabe sa desa. Thank you.
Can you give a rough translation?
The translation is like, it's like I'm Oromo, and I always die, you know, for freedom no matter what. That's what I was trying to say, but you know, I will let you know more about it and thank you.
How can people find your music?
Just search KHB and /ENT on YouTube, or you can find it on YouTube, and just do this research, and please just before you speak up about anything, do research and see what Oromo lives are going through. Please just go do research. Like, do not try to just speak up from your mind. Do not just speak up what you didn't see. Just do the research and see what we going through, what our Cairo going through back home. Please, that's all I can say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Hey, bro. Anybody else want to say anything? You want to say anything and close out or anything? I can do a closing.
A closing?
Yeah, or what are you all doing? No, okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, basically, so this is like 2 in the morning, 1 something in the morning, and you all just this is your life. You're just rocking out here.
Yeah, we'll be up all night.
Okay. So what can people expect for this next week? There's an action tomorrow for starting at the Oromo Community Center. Can you talk about that and maybe the hunger strike that happened last week and just any updates?
So there was a hunger strike held at the state capitol last week by Oromo Youth Association in solidarity with the political prisoners in Auromia. So people fasted with them for 3 days here to raise awareness. Tomorrow there's going to be a march for religious leaders starting from the OCM, like you said. I believe they're going to start meeting up at noon and head out around 2 p.m. Down University Avenue towards the state capitol. So if you want to join, if you are spiritual at all, or even if you're not, just in solidarity with the Oromo protest, you should come. Yeah. And then the rest of this week, pretty much, like I said earlier in the update, we're just waiting for a response from them. So we're here. Yeah.
All right.
You want to do that?
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. I'm all this.
Okay. I just want to say thank you for coming and giving us more exposure to what's going on here. And I think Tuiji wants to do a chant.
Ero jirtu.
Jirra!
Ero jirtu.
Jirra!
Ero jirtu.
Jirra!
Jirtu.
Jirra!
Jirtu.
Jirra!
Eso jirtu. Aka sinifal manai jifannon to moto Oromoti kapson ettifufti. Thank you.
Hey! Thank you.
Ero jirtu.
Yeah, can you give a rough translation?
Oromia nibilism. Jifannon diga nerofa. Oromia nibilism. Oromia nibilism. Edam toni siyasa ni kamu. Oromia nibilism. Oromia nibilism. Nagabula.
So Jirtu means where you at. Jirra means we are here. So that's a Oromo saying. It's been here for a minute. It basically means, hey, show up, be present, be full, be here 100, So when we say Jirtu, we ask each other, where you at? And when we say Jirra, we mean, yo, I'm right here. I'm here. Somebody calling me? I'm here. All of me is right here. So that's what we on. We right here 100%. We present. Just know that.
Thank you. All right, I'll do an outro over here.
Yeah. Thank you, Nico.
For sure. So again, thank you all for joining. We're here live. There's a large group over there, large group over here. We're here live in St. Paul, Minnesota, outside the Ethiopian embassy, where folks have taken up space to bring awareness to the Oromo struggle, to call for the releasing of political prisoners, and to also bring other grievances to the Ethiopian Consulate, which has not been answering their calls. You want to speak? Oh, okay. What's up? Okay, my fault. Yeah.
Set up too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. It's the elders? Are the elders speaking? Or? Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. So yeah, we'll show everybody the grounds real quick. They got the Hachalu Hundessa music going on. It's being projected out here.
Can you turn the volume up?
We got it. Yeah. I think it comes in pretty good. So this is the thing that's using, huh? That's the projector. Wow. So this is a Hachalu Hundessa video.
Yep.
This is Jira. This is what the chant was, huh? So have you all watched any movies out here or anything? Really? And he's got that hooked up through his phone. Nice. Nice. What else you all have out here? Got the food?
Yeah.
Where's the food come from? Just volunteer, like donations?
Yeah, donations, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
We got some good rice right here. Rice and
nice.
beef. Then we got drinks here. We got our utensils.
Mm-hmm. Got
yeah,
the sign.
Life over profit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you.
But yeah, the community really comes out and shows love. You know, like we never go hungry out here. We have all the supplies we need, and now we're getting even donations to do more. And so we'll be putting up a lot more posters and just kind of like even globalize our message past past Oromo liberation, past Black liberation, and more like documenting some of the injustice that's going on, like children being locked up in cages right now, ICE being a huge problem right here. It's a problem for our community too. And so it's something that our community hasn't voiced anything about because we just don't know how to do it, and we've just been in fear. And now we're like, yo, instead of being in fear, let's use our voices about what's going on in our community. So ICE is a problem in our community, it's a problem in everybody's community. Let's say something about it. What's happening to the Muslims, like we have Muslim members in our community, right? What's happening to the Muslims in Palestine, what's happening to the Muslims in China, the Uyghurs, what's happening to the Muslims in Yemen, in Beirut, like that's our problem too, you know? Let's say something about it, let's put up some signs, because these injustices are happening all over the world, and it's not, we shouldn't act like they're not connected. They are connected, and we shouldn't act like things are just gonna go back to normal. They're not gonna go back to normal, you know? Like these things are issues that need attention, you know, that need some time to basically it's like, hey, there's a problem here, can you please give it some attention, you know? And if there's no attention being given and we still see like our country here in our society still going as if, you know, everything is normal and like business as usual, then it sounds like capitalism needs to be stopping in its tracks, you know what I'm saying? Because capitalism is not listening, you know? And so like there has to be a change, man. There just really has to be a change, and it just feels a lot harder to be hopeless than to be hopeful. It feels a lot harder to be victimized than to feel like, nah, let's just, I guess, you know, this is what we got, you know? It feels worse to feel that way rather than to feel like you can do something about it. Because to feel like you can do something about it feels like you can get to something better quicker. But when you feel like, oh, there's nothing you can do about it, it just feels like, well, then you're gonna be stuck in these, you know, dirty, mucky waters for a long ass time, for a couple decades until you die. What is life if you don't get to live it the way you want to live it? If you don't get to live it freely, at least, if, you know, the pursuit of happiness, the Declaration of Independence, right? What is that if we can't actually pursue happiness and pursue life the way we want to pursue life? Where all these obstacles are put in front of us as black people, you know? So no, we don't want to live like this anymore, and we're not going to listen to anybody that's telling us, wait, your turn. Nope, there is no more waiting. We're just going to go ahead and create something different, something new, something better for ourselves, because we want to live better. We don't want this anymore. And I'm just a youth right now. I could just worry about myself as an individual. Let me just make my money, buy my little piece of land somewhere so nobody can bother me, and raise me some kids and have a home and a life. I could do that, but I can't even run away from my own I can't run away from the problems. I can't run away from being black. I can't run away from the police potentially killing me because they don't know who I am, or their own preconceived notions of me, their own biases of me. I can't run away if these laws, there's unjust laws that are against me. You know what I mean? I can't run away from these problems. So what can I do as an individual? I'm gonna organize with my community and fight for our freedom, stand for our freedom. There's nothing else to do. That's why I'm saying this is a way of life, because I as an individual can go and protest, and tomorrow come back, I still have the same problems, and I have friends who can go to sleep peacefully because that's the privilege that they have, good or bad, that's not my place to decide, but just understanding the different perspectives that I can't live peacefully, so I have to create some peace for myself and fight for my own peace and liberty, and I really believe that's what we're gonna get. That I really believe we're gonna win. I really believe we're gonna change as a society. I really believe we're gonna change as a community, as a world, as a humanity, we're gonna come together and decide to create something better. I really believe that's gonna happen. Because the other option is not viable. It's not life affirming, it's not life giving. So yeah. We out here still. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. I got work tomorrow.
What time? What time?
I got work tomorrow at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. to 5. I still work. I go take care of my work so I can take care of my bills, but that's like secondary. But this right here, this is important too, so I come out here and do this too. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, thank you so much for being out here with us.
Thank you for allowing us to be.
Yep.
I got my sister out here. For sure. I think I got this thing fixed. Check.
Let's see.
Just be aware that hold bottom part.
This way, okay.
Well, I'm just saying because this bottom part.
Okay, so how should I hold it?
Hold from here?
I can hold it. Yeah, you can hold it too.
Like this? No, just, hold this, so basically hold this and this together. I can do it together. Alright, let me hold that.
I tell people we're dealing with a little equipment, so thank you all for your patience.
So I just wanted to say a few things about the Ethiopian embassy. We've been out here for a week. It's a whole week we've been out here, and we haven't received anything from them. And that tells you a lot. I mean, from what I'm seeing, it's like they're in support of what's going on, the human rights violations taking place in Ethiopia, the mass arrest, the killings of children and pregnant women. It's like they're in support of this. Like, it's not making any sense to anybody. We're out here for a week. We haven't had anybody reach out. They're calling on unknown caller ID, and that's sick. That's very disturbing. This is humans' life we're talking about. I wanted to say that. And another thing I want to say is mention about the Ethiopian government. These people, they will talk all day, but they will not listen to the people. That's what they're known for. They will never listen to the people. But that's all I really wanted to say. And if anybody who works for this Ethiopian embassy, think of what you're doing, There's a large Oromo community out here. This Ethiopian embassy was only open because of the Oromo people here. We are the largest ethnic group from Ethiopia here. So this office is only open because of us. And yes, we're in support of every other ethnic groups in Ethiopia, not just Oromos. We're speaking for Waleta people who are going through the same thing just like us. Right now, we're talking about the Afar people. We're talking about the Sidama people. It's not just us. We're here for all humans. But that's all I wanted to say.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes.
So you've been out here all these time. How does it feel for you to be out here?
It's frustrating, honestly. You know, we're losing sleep. You know, it's very tiring. We're just all frustrated, and we just want answers. We want our questions answers. We want to see change. You know, it starts with them up here. If they come out, speak to the public, speak to the whole Oromo community out here, that's what we want. Why are their offices still closed? I mean, COVID, come on now. Everybody in this building right now, their offices are open. Why are they closed, you know? It's not making any sense to us. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time. Anything else, though? Is that good? Anybody else?
I'm good. They were just gonna start like.
Okay. Looks like some celebrations going on.
Get in line.
We're here live in St. Paul, Minnesota, outside the Ethiopian Consulate, where we have Oromo protests happening right now. It's been an occupation for over a week.
Hey, one more time. Hachalu. I'm gonna put it. Let's bring from the car.
We're live again here at outside the Court International Building, where the Ethiopian Consulate is, on 2550 University Avenue in St. Paul, Minnesota. The building is right here. The Ethiopian Consulate is up on the 3rd floor. And folks have been outside the Ethiopian Consulate for over a week. You see, freedom is the oxygen of the soul. The cats are listening to a lot of Hachalu Hundessa songs. And right now they're doing some movements.
Naftanya yani bokoise, Bishinga yani bokoise, Naftanya yani bokoise, Bishinga bali shokomse, Naftanya yani bokoise, Bishinga yani bokoise, Naftanya yani bokoise, Bishinga yani bokoise, Bishinga yani bokoise, Naftanya yani bokoise, Naftanya yani bokoise, Naftanya yani bokoise, Abiyi yani bokoise, Abiyi yani bokoise, Naftanya yani bokoise, Amalebo. Shakaruma, il modalle Hachalu Bishandune Shakaruma, il modalle Hachalu Bishandune Shakaruma, il modalle Jawaruma Bishandune Shakaruma, il modalle Hachalu Bishandune Shakaruma, il modalle Bakaluma Bishandune Shakaruma, il modalle Bakaluma Bishandune Shakaruma, il modalle Hamzaduma Bishandune Shakaruma, il modalle Hamzaduma Bishandune Shakaruma, Bishandune Shakaruma, Bishandune Shakaruma, Bishandune Shakaruma, il modalle
bakka jirtu hiitee lamuutiin irratti indichisii jettee arraaju eeggatu abaachaa
So again, we're here live in St. Paul, Minnesota. Thank you all for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Ride. Thank you for Chris and Dan on the back end. We realize it's a little bit late. Thank you all for running the back end. We're going to bring the stream down in probably like 5 minutes or so. We'll be out here continuing to document what's happening. This is over a week of occupation outside of the Ethiopian Consulate. We were here the first day of this occupation. If you want to check out our stream from that, it was about last week. We'll have some more videos, some edited videos and some articles coming out soon from these protests, the Oromo protests. If you want to know more information, go to the internet, Twitter, hashtag Oromo protests. On Instagram, there's a Oromo protest page. And again, follow Unicorn Ride. UnicornRide.ninja is our website. We will have some more media from documenting what people are talking about out here. Again, thank you all for joining. Unicorn Ride is a non-profit educational media organization dedicated to bringing context of social and environmental struggles. We do this commercial-free, and we do it for you all to create a platform for the community's voice to be heard. So thank you all for trusting us to be the voice and for listening in right now, for watching in. We're on Twitter, UR_ninja. We're on Instagram, unicorn.riot. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo. If you want to watch our videos with captions while we're live, I think YouTube allows auto captioning.
What?
Is this? Good. I'll say that. Thank you. Do you know the name of the song? You could just say it in your mic.
This is Hachalu Hundessa.
Yeah, this song is called Masan Gama by Hachalu Hundessa.
base, warra soldano base.
Abiyyi baasa nu baase, warra soldano baase.
Abiyyi baasa nu base, warra soldano baase.
Abiyyi baasa nu baase, warra soldano baase.
Abiyyi
baasa nu baase,
Abiyyi
baasa nu baase.
Abiyyi
baasa nu baase,
warra soldano
baase.
warra soldano
Nu baase,
warra soldano
baase.
warra soldano
baase,
warra soldano
baase.
warra soldano
baase.
Abiyyi
baasa nu baase,
Abiyyi
baasa nu baase.
Abiyyi
baasa nu baase,
warra soldano
baase.
warra soldano
baase.
warra soldano
baase.
warra ba
baase.
Naftanya
baase.
Naftanya
baase.
Gurgurtu
baase.
Gurgurtu
baase.
Hatu
baase.
Omata
baase.
Omata
baase.
Waragara
baase.
Waragaga
baase.
Khalil lives right there. He just came out today.
Ya gobana sumanya talenti bosana.
Ya naftanya sumaka asagero barana
Ya naftanya sumaka asagero barana.
Ya Abiyyi sumaka asagero barana
Ya Abiyyi sumaka asagero barana.
Ya gobana sumanya talenti barana
Ya gobana sumanya talenti bosana.
Ya Abiyyi sumaya asagero barana
Ya Abiyyi sumaya asagero barana.
Ya Abiyyi sumaka asamaro barana
Ya Abiyyi sumaka asamaro barana.
Yeah. Can you
Ya Abiyyi sumaka asamaro barana.
just take the audio?
No.
Sick.
I don't know the lyrics. I don't know the lyrics.
Basically, they're saying that.
Hey, you want me to put it?
Just the audio.
I can hold the mic to them.
Oh, no. I just wanted the English translation. If I
Oh,
no worries.
I can't do that. It's so hard.
Jawar Karmiya will say. Basically, they're saying is, Abiy will go away. Oromo will fight for it and will take her over. Basically. Abiy is the president of Ethiopia. Kero means the youngest people will take her over, no matter what you do.
Thank you.
And they will take her over you. So you not last forever, you know.
Literally, what they're saying is, regardless what you do, the Kero will be still a resistant group against you, and we will still resist regardless of your oppression against Oromo people. We got the Kero. Kero means the youth. Oromo people still fight for Oromo. They're still fighting for injustice, regardless what you're gonna do. You can in prisons, regardless whatever, we still will fight. We are 50 million people deep. Is either you arrest all of us or kill all of us. That's what they basically mean.
Thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Thank you all for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're all here outside of the Court International Building at 2550 University Avenue, bringing you the perspectives of the Oromo youth, the Kero. And right now they're doing some chants, some empowering chants, some self-determination chants. Again, if you want to know more information about the Oromo protest, check out the internet. Also check out our live feeds from last week. We were live from outside of this consulate, as well as the next day during a women's march. We've heard a lot of perspectives from the Oromo folks. Heard a lot of interviews and a lot of heart and history from them, as well as some of the reasonings why they're out here. And so continue to follow our feeds, continue to follow Oromo Diaspora Media, Oromo Media Network for more media on the Oromo struggle.
Thank you all for joining again. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're going to bring the stream down. Thank you, Dan and Chris. Thank you, Chris, for the front end, for the beginning of the back end, and for Dan for running the back end now. We're going to take the stream down whenever you can, Dan. We'll continue to be out here. We will bring a fuller picture with an article and a video encapsulating some of the protests that we've been documenting. Again, continue to follow us, unicornriot.ninja. If you have the financial ability and financial privilege to support us, that's how we operate. We operate off of your support. Continue to follow us on the social medias. We're more active on Twitter. Otherwise, you all take it easy. Have a great night and have a good weekend this coming up weekend. Peace, peace.